Well, hey there, research project people. I'm sure you're wondering, how on earth does research project get marked? And more to the point, how on earth do I know whether I'm actually doing what I need to be doing? And so what I thought I'd do is to create a few little videos to try to explain how you are going to prove that you have achieved at a more than satisfactory level for each of the criteria in the analysis section of the folio. And so we've got 4 criteria in the analysis section: D1, D2, D3 and D4. And so I thought that we would start with, of course, D1, which is all about research development. And basically, this is all about trying to have a look at how you have changed the direction of your research. Obviously, when you wrote your proposal, you made some claims about what it was that you thought you were going to do and what you thought you were going to find out and how you thought you were going to go about doing it. And so D1 is basically about trying to see whether you have done those things and to explore the idea that the things that you've learned, the things that you've discovered, well, that's actually changed the way that your research has gone. You might have assumed that your research would go from here right across to here. But most people will find that their research will have them starting here, and then they'll go off on this little tangent, and then they'll go up here, and they come down and across and down, and then they end up at that final destination. Sometimes they end up in a place where they didn't even think they were going to when they first started. And so what I'm really looking for is to see that you have made perhaps new pathways, where you've read something in a source and gone, actually, that's made me think about exploring this. And so I'm going to need to find some extra sources that are going to help me to be able to explore this new pathway. One of the other things that I look for in your research development is whether you've actually gone through and checked the sources. So when you found a source, did you go and have a look at the author? If you found the author, did you then go and have a look at anything else that they've written? Have they written a whole number of works around this particular topic? And then you've got a whole wealth of resources that you can work with. Have the sources that you used, have they included a lot of references, research, links? Have they been provided? And if you've gone and followed them, have they provided new information for you? If they have you gone down the path and actually explored all of the different avenues that your research could take you in? A few other ways that you can show me that you have developed your research. If you have a look over on the right hand side here, one is to check definitions. Most of you have picked topics where you're going to come across words that you haven't come across before. You're going to find new words. You're going to find new ways of talking about different topics. I've learned plenty of new words as I've gone about trying to teach research project over the last few years. So have you gone about the process of learning new words, learning new terminology, and actually going and using that in your writing? Secondly, have you gone and compared sources? You're going to hear me use the phrase cross-referencing all the time. Cross-referencing is basically assuming that not every source is going to say the same thing. You might have a source. The example that I use most often is you might have a source that says that the Crows won the grand final last year. Would have been horrible if they had, but the Crows won. But then you go and read another source, and it says that the Tigers won the grand final last year. And so you've got 2 sources, one saying Crows, one saying Tigers. How do you know which one is true? And essentially what I'm asking you to do is to go and have a look at a 3rd source. Hopefully what you're going to find is that the information that you find in one source is going to be consistent with what you see in another source. That's called cross-referencing. I'm going to be asking you to be making sure that what you're seeing is consistent across all of your sources. Thirdly here, reflecting on changes. So how has your thinking about your topic changed as you've learned new things? You're going to have an opportunity in your folio to explore and explain the directions that you've taken. And so you found out new things from your sources, and you've gone, whoa, okay, I've got some questions about that. And so I'm going to go down this path, and then I'm going to go this way and that way, and hopefully you're going to come to a far more well-rounded conclusion. You're going to have a really solid answer to your question by having gone through this process. Research development is all about showing change. It's all about showing how what you've learned has helped change the direction of your research. And that's what I want to see right throughout D1. So D1 is about proving that you've gone and done what you said you were going to do in the planning stages, and showing me that the method or the way that you have gone about your research has changed over the course of time. Next video we'll explore D2, and then we'll have a look at D3 and D4 as well.